Why is unemployment good for the economy? As a general rule, unemployment is never good for the economy. That being said, creating artificial positions to lower the unemployment or even striving for 100% employment rate is also bad, counterproductive and inefficient. Furthermore, there are several types of unemployment, some of which are bad, others neutral or natural. Volunteer unemployment. From the point of view of economical output, this would be negative as the person doesn't take part in creation of wealth, but from the point of view of job market, this type of unemployment is neutral since person is not looking for job. Seasonal unemployment, the cause of which is seasonal nature of certain jobs, tourism, summer activities, winter activities, etc. Again, from the standpoint of economy, this doesn't pose much of a problem. Frictional unemployment, caused by switching between jobs, again this doesn't pose much of a problem, as same with seasonal, these are short-termed. Structural unemployment caused by change in the structure of economy. Imagine region, city which relies on mining of coal, prices of coal go down, mining stops being profitable, mines close, you have a lot of people without work in said region, city. This can be potentially dangerous locally and is much trickier in solving. But it still can be prevented or mitigated by programs or simply by time. But this would generally speaking be rather negative type of unemployment. Cyclic, this is the worst case scenario, generally caused by ongoing recession of economy or crisis. This is dangerous since people are unable to find jobs for long term, and since the economy is in down less wealth is created. It is also rather hard to combat. Each country has so-called natural rate of unemployment, 4 to 8%, which basically is the lowest possible unemployment the country can have without resorting to creating jobs just for sake of creating jobs. Thus a natural unemployment can be in a way a positive thing for economy as a whole, since full employment is unachievable without previously mentioned methods. That does not take away the fact that on individual level, if you belong into that 4 to 8% and you want a job but cannot get it, it is a negative thing. Socialist states during the communist era had 100% employment, which a lot of feltists like to remind us of by saying, everybody had a job. Although, everybody had to have a job, would be more accurate description, whilst conveniently leaving out the fact that since there was overemployment, some people went to work and they worked by doing literally nothing. What was result of this? Was more goods or services produced? More wealth created if those few percents didn't have a job? Of course not. The only difference was that production became more inefficient as you had to pay people who did not contribute because they were redundant, thus increasing costs. So there you can see that sometimes indeed unemployment can be a positive thing, sort of. You can frame almost anything as good thanks to competition. But it's not always true. Let's assume that a group of 100 tradesmen are engaged in a workforce. They're all equally qualified. At the top of any trade, the difference in quality between practitioners is very small and not of much consequence. But 6 of these tradesmen are always unemployed on any given day. The exact individuals change, but there are always 6. The tradesmen have no say in the matter, it's entirely up to the employers. This doesn't spur the remaining 94 to greater accomplishments, but engenders fear and corner cutting. The incentive to employ kickbacks, accept lower wages, use personal relationships, and so forth to keep jobs is intense. It can too easily become a cage of frightened animals frantically crawling over one another to reach an imaginary exit. This is what unions were devised to regulate. In the real economy, some 3 to 6% will almost always be unemployed, and often higher than that. This is the natural slippage of people switching jobs. This is normal and expected. But higher rates are dangerous, because they signal a slowdown in economic activity, too many job aspirants and too few jobs to absorb them. Theoretically, this leads to employers cherry-picking the best and brightest, but the reality is that it rarely works that way. Employers very often select on the basis of whim or the lower expected wage. Employers are not incentivized to produce the highest quality, but only the minimum quality that will sell in the marketplace. Consumers rarely know quality ahead of time in most cases, something called the asymmetry of information. So most will not pay a premium for highest quality work, leading employers to provide the level that will be profitable, not the highest level possible. I'm afraid that the competition through unemployment idea is more of an armchair dream than a reality.